Greetings, everybody. It's Tuesday, which means here on Campfire, someone is eating. As I said, our hosts had to hydrate themselves and do things. We had a small problem with Twitch doing something in the back end, and it is Tuesday, which means it's Campfire. I am Pseudo, and I am joined by my hostesses, who are the absolute mostesses. I am joined by Screenager.
Hello.
And I am joined by the Viking King himself, Blankspace.
Hi everyone, how you doing today?
Are you eating grapes?
Tomatoes. Cherry, delicious tomatoes. Here you go.
Cherry tomatoes. That sounds actually really good. But that's beside the point. I've actually gotten a chance to have dinner today. Have you guys eaten yet? I know Blank is currently eating.
In the front door and straight to food. None of this rushing about. None of this picking food out my beards like Blank.
I still have not had a double-decker. That just sounds really wrong.
You'll have to come to Gamescom and we'll give you a double-decker.
Let's see if I can survive my doctor's appointment tomorrow. How about that?
Then reward yourself with a double-decker.
We'll see what ends up happening. But yes, it is the Campfire, and today we do not have a guest. And that's okay, because we've got guests coming up all kinds of times in the future. We've got a lot of people who are coming onto the show. And we also have a giveaway that we're doing this week as well, as just for people, not today on this show, but it will be during the data mine. For those who are interested, we are giving away a pair of the brand new orangey colored gunner glasses during the data mine. So if you're interested in stuff like that,
like that sort of orange? That orange
it's
there?
Oranger.
That orange right there.
It's
oranger than this.
It's oranger.
You're not seeing this in the right light. Hold on.
It's not my fault you're not using the right light.
Oranger than that.
Your white balance is too off.
These technicalities.
Yes. Are you telling me you're wanting these gunner glasses, Green? Is that what you're telling me?
Not unless they come in broken eyes prescription.
There are other brands out there. Yes, there are things like No Scope, etc. But I just happen to have a pair of gunners that I'm giving away.
BBC impartiality when Dawn's on the stream.
No, it's just someone said no scope or go home. So I just wanted to point out there are other types of glasses out there. I just happen to have gunners.
There's one way to find out. Do you know what that is?
What?
Fight.
To the death.
To the death.
Yeah. And
this is how you do marketing. You put two brands together and you make them fight. I'd love to see that, actually, with some toilet paper rolls, you know. Charmin v. Andrax. Put the two together. Let them fight. That would be
I thought you just meant PR reps from various companies with toilet roll.
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine that? MMA specifically designed for the PR reps. You put the PR reps of Arcage together with the PR reps of Aeon. Fight. Go. Who wins? And whoever wins. That would just
I'm not entirely sure Aeon has PR reps now.
Oh, okay.
What's Aeon?
Right. Oh, wow.
Anyway.
So yes, the Campfire is our show all about things involving guilds, communities, and gaming communities as a whole. And today's show was a request. A request from a while ago, actually, that I've been holding off for a day when I knew we wouldn't have guests.
No singing. Messer's not popping in and singing.
No.
Fail.
No, he is not. But we were asked, what kind of tools do you guys use for your community? Helping to keep it organized? I mean, what do you use to actually keep your community going? Besides, hey, you all play a game together and you use the game's inbuilt tools. Although that is something that can occur as well. So, we could talk about, and we will be talking about, two different types of tools in this show because it is the Campfire and that's what we do. The first type of tool we're going to be talking about are things that you can use to help your guild. The second type of tool are people like Screen, Blank, and myself, who are absolute and utter tools.
Yeah?
Exactly. So, I guess the question becomes, which one would you want to talk about first? The tools who are in your community or the tools you use to help your community?
Let's keep this strictly professional.
Let's be professional.
As he says, as he throws a grape or tomato into the air and misses. By the way, it was pointed out by I think it's Chatterer, who said there is a 5-second rule, so I think you're safe, Blank, even though it missed your mouth.
That's fine.
You don't know what I fell into for 5 seconds. He might not have a floor.
I picked it up with my foot. No
what
big
does
deal.
he have? Lava?
Oh! Well, he could have. It could be dirt floor. I don't know what American building standards are like.
Listen, in America, we have floors.
America?
In America, we don't live in dirt basements.
Now, see, I have to tell a story, and only because of the fact that you brought this up, I have to go there. Okay, this is just a small little insight into the strangeness that is my mother. When I moved over to the United Kingdom, my mother asked me in all seriousness, is your bathroom in your house, or do you still have to go outside and use an outhouse? She didn't think that civilization had caught up from the Middle Ages.
You still, never mind.
I did have to tell her that it was shocking to know that we had running water. But,
I mean, you didn't have to go to the stream, and American floors are made with freedom. Hood titties, I love you.
Is this one of those shows where I'm going to have to, like, bleep out every time we say America or something like that?
No.
If you bleep out America but no hood titties, that's absolutely fine.
Okay. Right. So we're going to talk about some of the tools that we use, and we can discuss evolution of tools as well. Now, I have been running guilds for a very, 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 very long time, and one of the things that we stated a long time ago on a previous show was that it's very important to have a website. Something completely separate.
How long have you been running guilds for, Josie?
That's
a very long
poop
time.
face. Did you see the poop face? Can you like take a picture of that? That was a poop face if I've ever seen one. You were like,
no, I'm thinking because it's been many, many, many years. I've had quite a few years. Gosh, even going back to mud communities. So
what?
Since probably like 90 something or other.
Shall we settle on a very, very, very long time?
Yes, I'm an old geezer. Everyone should know this. But anyway, so we know that one of the things we discussed is that having a website is incredibly important. And there are a lot of people who are terrified of technology, technophobes, and there are a lot of people who are unfamiliar with the different types of tools that are out there for websites. So I wanted to turn to you guys. Go ahead, Blank. Make some suggestions for people about websites.
You are looking for a way to get your community together. You don't have a web designer. You don't have money to purchase a domain. You wouldn't know how to forward a domain if you did. Two big ones that I've used, there's a lot of them out there, is going to be Engine and Guild Launch.
I'd also throw out their Shifter. Okay.
These are free. You can get paid plans for extra additional bells and whistles. It's like putting, I don't know, shiny sparklers on your crappy bike. It's still a crappy bike, but they work. Like they get you where you need to go. If you don't have the funds, you don't have the knowledge, they are a great place to start. Mm-hmm. You will eventually get to the point where the tools are not enough. You need more versatility. You want it to look pretty. You want it to look presentable. You want to integrate something from somewhere else, like Twitch or YouTube, and then you'll end up going from there. But at the very beginning basis, those sort of websites are really great. You're able to get like your name for whatever it is for your community, and they also have interworking community relations in them, both on Guild Launch and on Engine. You're able to say what games you're recruiting for and talk to others who use that community itself. So when it comes to starting points, that is definitely a tool right there.
I also throw out there because you're talking about two of the more common ones. Shifter is one that is known as well, and all three of these different sites will also evolve and change as games change as well, and technology. So for example, Shifter has the ability to let you put Twitch streams into your site. So you can just put the channel name and tell people this is the Twitchers for a particular community or what have you. So there is something to be said for, upgrading technology or having someone else handle all that technology. Because if not, and it sits on you, that's actually more administrative work. So those are some websites.
I missed one.
How did you miss it? I was going to see if Screen was going to go there, but we'll let you go there.
I got a big toolbox. I forgot a Nook. A Nook is out there. They're like the gamers Facebook thing. I'm not super active on them, and I don't think we had a community co-lead who was doing stuff with them. It's much more niche area.
Small is the word you're looking for.
I'm sorry?
Small is the word you're looking for.
They're not as small as you might think. Holy cow.
This is what I'll say. It's very compartmentalized. It's very small. You find your specific place, and that's kind of where you stay. They are working on their PR stuff. They are working on promoting their things out. It's just another tool, like I said. Just because it's a little dinky tool, doesn't mean that we shouldn't throw it in the pile for people to use there.
I also want to throw out there that they do things. For example, in a couple of weeks, there is a broadcasters get-together, almost like a town hall, sort of, with people across multiple communities getting together to talk, share, and discuss things, sort of like what we do at the Campfire here, although I don't think they're going to be as trolly as we are with each other. But
what?
I know. Really? But
boring.
Does this mean that me and Don need to make an appearance in chat?
Yup.
Well, it's not.
To put aside a time?
It's being done through TeamSpeak. This next chat. I missed the last one, unfortunately, and I'm hoping I can make this next one. But they do have get-togethers for things like Twitch streamers, and they do talk about things like how to do YouTube. I mean, they offer an awful lot more than just sitting there saying we have a place where we can all talk together. Although they do have the ability to have in each of the individual community sections, say, a built-in forum, which is something that can be very useful. And we already know somebody who has come to MMOBuff a couple of times on 2 different shows now, who is actually building her community in that, and that's Eloa. Mm-hmm. And her guild and her community is built through a Nuke. So that is another one to keep in mind. So you've got 4 various platforms. Now, if you are wicked wise and all that other stuff, you can take the time, build your own domain. You can take the time, build your own website. You can take the time and put together whatever tools you want to, be it through WordPress, through Joomla, through Drupal, through Concrete 5, through some of the other content management systems out there. But in all honesty, unless you are sort of like Benjamin from Gosh Gosh, where you have all of the tool sets as part of your job skill set anyway, you don't want to necessarily give yourself more work to do. At least that's my recommendation. So, yeah. What do you think, Screen?
Well,
any others?
From a jumping off point, you pretty much covered the basics in terms of that. Obviously, you have, at the end of the day, I mean, Guild Launch, Engine, Shifter, as you've said, a Nuke. You've got a number of different platforms, they all have different tools. As the chat is saying, Engine's generally considered by chat to be the best of those bunch for what you need as a starting jumping off point. And certainly I wouldn't disagree with them, but that's just my personal preference. If you're a little more technical, like you said, then you can certainly look into things like CMS systems, bulletin boards. So you can have things like bulletin boards installed on your own website, or you can have a CMS system like WordPress. Now, I would say that if you're playing an MMO that's been around for a while, you will generally tend to find that if you take something like WordPress, for example, there will be, or Joomla, you find there are a lot of plugins that are built for those that can be installed. Warcraft and Star Wars: The Old Republic are both particularly well filled out in those sort of CMS systems.
Even with theming. With theming. Because it's not just having a site, it's making the site look like, when you look at the site, you want people to go, hey, that is the Viking Nation. Well, or, hey, that is Afterlife Gaming. Hey, that is whatever.
Well, from a star perspective, that's one of the great things about using something like, if you can get past the installation stage, using something that's like WordPress or Joomla CMS system, because you make it look really, really nice, really clean, really crisp, on the front end without the branding from Engine or Guild Launch. People, the sort of things that people will necessarily pick up on and go, oh, my message inbox, it connects to all these other websites. Oh, I'm an Engine. I've just signed into Engine, which it can be great for in some respects, but if you want a very unique website that stands on its own and you don't have a lot of technical knowledge, then certainly that provides you with the utility to do so. And like I said, these plugins that are available through the communities can do things like recruitment. They can provide you with forms that will allow you to manage your recruitment, manage your DKP, manage your raids. All these sort of plugins exist within CMS systems. So if you're looking for something a little more challenging, but it gives you a bit more control over what you do, then certainly I'd say that looking at those sort of systems is worth it.
I do want to throw out there, though, just because you go to, say, find a community and you find out they're run on a certain platform, be it Engine, Guild Launch, Drupal, WordPress, what have you, even if you don't necessarily like them, don't shoot them down just because they've decided to use a tool that maybe you don't like. I've had so many people who would come around, oh God, when was it? Back in World of Warcraft. And people were like, oh my gosh, you're horrible. You're using Engine. Oh my gosh, you guys suck because you're using insert anything here. If you're making a judgment call in a community based on what tools they're using, seriously?
Wait. Really?
Yes! There are people out there who are, I hate to say it, but they are
Stop
website-specific snobs. So,
Whoa,
yeah.
I gotta side with the snobs here.
Really?
If I go, oh yeah, dude, if I go to a, what you see is how you perceive things. So, I go to your Engine page, and it's the basic, boring, you did nothing, Engine page. That to people is going to be, be perceived differently, right? So if I see blah, now if I go to an Engine website and they've spruced it up and they've got some more widgets and woo, I might be like, wow, that's cool. But they didn't take the next leap. And whether it's funding, whether it's knowledge.
The leap home. Sorry.
Which is that next step where you have a website, let's say, and I'll even use my own, like a Viking Nation website, where it's not like super duper shiny, well, like massively processed, all that sort of stuff like an MMOBuff, but it's that middle ground. And people perceive value from what they see. They perceive the difference between seeing a guy with a suit on with nice clothes compared to seeing a bro in sweatpants that got friggin' mustard stains and ketchup on his shirt that says America. What you see is
putting that on the Guild front page.
What you see is how you evaluate things, how you perceive them. So I'm not shocked by it. I think somebody who's able to critique things, look at it a little differently, might get more bang for their buck when they're trying to discern how much effort they put in and for what reasons they are on the platform they are. But that's just human nature.
Well, see, there's a difference. I mean, what you're saying right there, I completely agree with. I mean, if someone's going to sit there and build a website and put no effort in and just get the default thing and go, la, 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 we're the best guild out there, you should be joining us, that's one thing. But if you are looking at it and you don't even bother to see if they've taken the time to do it, you just see that it has Engine in the name and you don't even click the link because you hate Engine, that's a little bit unfair. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe, but it does happen.
Oh, it's going to. I'm just saying, it seems to be a little bit unfair. That's all I'm saying.
There are people starving in the world. I live in America, and that's also unfair. There's nothing.
First world problem.
First world problems. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, fair is very relative. But yes, I do understand what you're saying, Josie. So do be aware of how you are perceiving the things in front of you, and don't make a hasty snap judgment just based upon the things you see in front of you. You never know when you're going to find an amazing community who puts their money into charity, or if they do get dollar bills, put it towards something really heartfelt and meaningful and awesome. And that's why they're on Engine. You never know. So.
And bear in mind, like we've said, and like I said many shows ago, people are judgmental. Bear that in mind when you're looking at what tools to use to build your website. Don't dig yourself a hole by trying to build something that's too ambitious and ends up being a mess. Don't pick something that's going to end up being, well, not going to show your full potential. Try and have a look, pick the right tool for you, look at what they can do, look at what you can do with those utilities, and look at how much you understand, and go ahead and use the tool that's going to be best for your level of skill, because that's going to reflect what you are able to do there and then, and going to best reflect what your guild's about or your community is about. Because, like Blank said, like I've said before, people are judgmental, and at the end of the day, it's the same as you going for an interview. People will look at you and make a judgment call. That's how human nature works.
Absolutely. And to answer your question, Aklek, or Akek, Aklek, that's not your name at all, but I'm
She's
sorry.
basically turning into a Martian.
I feel like I am. My head is partially not here. There's nothing wrong with judging people, but immediately putting something down as a blanket statement is wrong. I would prefer to, if I'm going to make a judgment call, do it on an individual basis, which means if, like Blank was saying, if there are two websites, they're both on Engine, one is the default and it doesn't look like they put any time or effort into it, and one looks like they've, tried to figure out a way to, say, change the colors on their site or put in things like a recruitment block or have a bit more, touch to it, I'm going to judge that one differently than I judge one that looks like no one gave a crap. There's a difference there, and it's sort of the same thing with people. I'd rather speak to the person and make my judgment calls on the individual than I would want to say, hey, you're trying to apply to my guild from the Netherlands. I blanketly hate all people from the Netherlands. That to me just seems really stupid. So to me, it doesn't make a difference whether someone's on Engine, Shifter, or something else like that. What matters to me is the individuals and what they've done with what the tools were given to them. That's all I'm saying. So, that's a website statement, and that was a soapbox. Wow, Blank. Was that your phone? Are you being professional today?
Oh, no. No, it's my button. Hold on.
That was bullshit.
You think that's BS? I'm being serious. Do you honestly think that's BS?
I think we need to step on from websites, as we've covered that somewhat at the moment.
We have covered it. What I will say is you're talking about the same struggle I have with Healthy Gamer. There is human behavior that is a organic part to us. There is a reason why in males, when we see a female with blonde hair or with different types of hair, that it triggers certain responses. That is nature. People see things and they automatically judge. Asking them to do more than that is just, it's asking too much, in my opinion.
Okay,
somebody sees
fair enough
the
in
word,
your opinion, but I disagree.
Exactly. So what we can move on to...
remember, I'm Care Bear loving, as you guys put it last week, if I remember correctly.
What's wrong with liking a Care Bear?
Not a
There's
damn
nothing.
thing.
Have you got a problem? Do you have a problem with liking Care Bears?
Probably. She
Are we
probably
going to fight
does.
on this? She probably hates Care Bears.
So
all I'm
we're
going to
gonna
say
move
is
on.
Care Bear stare.
Pseudo hates Care Bears.
Yep.
Lock up your children.
Yep. Don't leave any nice furry happy things in Cthulhu or
Burn-
nothing.
Oh,
There's
done.
nothing
Yep.
wrong with Cthulhu.
Well, what the heck is wrong with Care Bears?
Nothing.
I mean, why are you burning
I love
them?
the Care Bear stare.
Why are you burning them?
Lies.
Why are you getting rid of them? Why
They're-
are you banning
I
Care Bears?
love the fact that they're trying to make me out to this horrid thing. Seriously?
Well, we've yet to
Are we
hear a
going
statement
there?
from you.
I love
We've
Care
yet to-
Bears.
Yeah, that's
I
what
had
you're saying now.
Sunshine Bear. Unfortunately, it got burned in a fire. Not my fault, believe
Whoa!
me.
Okay.
This is terrible. Do you guys have police in the United Kingdom? Because we need to call somebody.
Look,
Burning Care Bears.
my
Did you
Care
see the
Bear
riots a couple
was
years
in
ago?
a fire that was
Okay,
set
cool.
by my mother. Long story. So it was not my fault. I lost my Care Bear. It was a very sad day. Don't judge me.
You what? You lost it. That's what you told your mother. Is this
I
how you're
lost
breaking
it.
it to now? You burn it?
I lost it in
That's
a
how you break
random
it to your
lighter
mother.
accident. So
What you see
we're
at
going
the
to move
bottom of
on.
the screen describes these two perfectly. Continue.
We're going to move on. I'm going to throw out one of my favorite tools here. Haha, and I don't mean Screenager. When it comes to organization, before, in a time long ago, before we had all these nice tools, we had to do everything on forum boards. Before we were able to log on our phone and talk on TeamSpeak, we had to do all these old. I'm not going to talk too much about the old school tools. I'm going to talk about what works now. You know, if you watch this in a year, it might be dated. But Google Drives. Google Drive is your friend. I hate it. I had to get used to it. You can share documents with folks. You can work on documents together. You can do spreadsheets. You can share them instantly with folks. You can give them certain levels of access. If you are running any community, guild, clan, organization where you need to keep track of any sort of vital information that you need to be able to share quickly, all I need is your email. Poof. Get used to Google Drive. Get used to saving your crap there. I even use it as a place to back up my old stuff on my computer. So if my computer dies, I've saved stuff on my Google Drive. You know, like pictures of my daughter, you know, or silly memes that I enjoy, so that I can have them back if I decide to wipe my whole computer. I don't know about you folks, how heavily you may use Google Drive, but the convenience, the accessibility, the being able to gate, who's able to edit, who's able to comment, who's able to fully edit, and even add things to a drive is, I mean, it's amazing. No longer do you have to sit in on a forums and upload it to your forum and then leave it there and hope people check it. It's instant. I can send stuff by my phone to people. You know, invaluable. Thoughts?
Do you use stuff like that, Screen? For Afterlife?
What I'd say is what we're looking at there is we're looking at organization and collaboration utilities. So by collaboration utilities, we're looking, because that's what Google Drive's used as by a lot of guilds, and it's a fantastic utility. But it's used as a collaboration utility, and what we mean by that is that if you've got a bunch of people, say you, your officers, or just a generic group of people that are working together on stuff, being able to create content, store it in one place, and be able to control access to that content and share changes. Google Drive is not necessarily built as a collaboration framework. What it is it is a great utility as a jumping off point. So you've got things like Google Drive. To some extent, you have other cloud storage utilities that do similar jobs that are not as easy to necessarily get on with, but they do the same sort of job. So you've got like OneDrive, Dropbox, Google Drive. There are other various cloud
Isn't
storage.
OneDrive shutting down from Ubuntu?
That is, you're thinking of the Ubuntu,
OneDrive?
whatever it's called now.
I think it's called
It's
OneDrive.
not called OneDrive. It's not, because Microsoft's cloud utility that used to be called SkyDrive is now called
I just know the
OneDrive.
one that they use for Ubuntu is shutting down, so.
Yeah, so I'm talking about the Microsoft one,
Okay.
because that I use that as well, because that integrates into all my Windows 8 operating systems, and a lot what you'll find is that Google works really well for people because a lot of people have access to that on a number of different devices, as well as having control. I've used things like SharePoint as well. That's going to be a little more advanced to set up.
Interesting.
It does give you some. It gives you some level of integration with different applications, especially if you're heavily Windows based. Gives you control, but again, it requires a lot more backend to set up. There are other integration utilities and other utilities that pull together some of these things. I think probably Pseudo is in a better position to talk about some of those things like Podio, Slack, collaboration
I'll be
utilities.
getting to
pull
those
these.
in just a second.
But I'll let you jump in on those then.
Well, I want to point out when it comes to any kind of sharing stuff, there was a time back in the day when you could get a Google's app account for free. it's not exactly something you can do anymore. So when you actually go to do something like, say, you use Google Drive, you do need to make certain you handle permissions well. And it is a layer of administrative overhead because you can't say everybody in my guild domain unless you're paying for it. Up to 10 licenses, I believe, was free. But, you know, it makes it more difficult, but you have to make certain that you know whose email address is whose. So when you share something out, it's actually going to the officers or what have you. So
I'd say when you're at the stage of looking at having that level of permissions on documentation and stuff you're collaborating on, at that stage you may be looking to either be paying for it because you're going to be paying for a website address at that stage, or you're going to be looking at buying a third-party collaboration utility that's going to be looking to assist in that sort of granularity at that stage. But
let's take a moment and let's think about people who don't have a lot of money. Okay, let's just pretend that not everybody has the ability to pay for the collaboration software that's out there. There are a variety of ways that you can actually work with stuff. LibreOffice and OpenOffice, free word processing, Excel type spreadsheet software. They have the ability to do presentations, sort of like with PowerPoint. You basically have the Microsoft Office suite in two different forms. There's LibreOffice and there's OpenOffice. There are others out there, but it's free. 100% free. And it can be opened in Microsoft. Even Microsoft documents can be opened in this as well. They have some issues because they're from different companies, but they're free things that you can use. Now, you can also look at setting up a free Dropbox. I mean, Dropbox is an okay thing to do. Granted, you're not going to get the granularity you would get with a Google Drive, where if I type the word "you suck" in Google Doc, everybody who's looking at that will see "you suck." I mean, that's just kind of the nature of proper collaborative tools. However, it is still an option for people who are looking for free things, and I don't want to rule them out just because they don't offer all the bells and whistles. Not everybody needs the bells and whistles. You know, not everybody is going to be looking to build a massive community. Some people may be small and just want to have a couple of little things. And in all honesty, there's nothing wrong with that. It's always going to be what works best for you. And sometimes you have to do trial and error. So that's all I say to that one. But yeah, there are a lot of different types of, I'd say, document storage, collaborative tools that you can use. And I appreciate you bringing up Google Drive because we didn't used to have that. And man, I wish to God we did back in the day. Back in my day, as you guys were all like last week.
hey, don't pick on us just because we're old farts.
I think I'm older than you guys. Like, by far. I'm an old lady.
Back in my day, we had to get together to go to a land down south, all 5 of us in a stinky bus in one hotel room. Now they got these new esports. Sports is sending you all across the world. What's this all about? I'm done.
You done? Because that was painful.
Interesting. Nope. Right, so there are other things that we can use for collaboration and fun, and that means communication. Things like, everyone should know these: Skype, TeamSpeak, Mumble, Vent, Call.
Let's line these up because I'd like to hear what you guys think.
Oh,
look over
interesting.
Here. So, at the bottom there's Mumble because it's crap. Then there's Call. That's also crap.
Feel free to say which one you prefer to use as well.
I'll even type this out in a second. Ventrilo is I'm not going to say that. It's below TeamSpeak, and then you have stuff like Skype or there's lots of other go to Skype, go to Meeting. There are a lot of different. There's companies even have their own setup systems that have weird different names. Yeah, those instant video able to be there. But that's my list: Mumble, Bottom, Call, Vent, TeamSpeak, Skype, and others.
Abaddon points out Mumble's the best VoIP client. VoIP, actually.
Don't listen to him. He doesn't really know much anyway, so.
I think what you've got...
Even Hood Titties agrees with him. Are you trying to sell these people? The point is, there are an awful lot out there, and it depends on the type of stuff you wish to use. And this is just, like I'm saying, this is just voice communication. Some of them have a cost to them, some of them don't. Some of them allow you to set up your own servers, some of them don't. Go on, Blank.
No, it's like Casera said, I prefer that everyone use the same goddamn one so I don't have to use 87 different ones. Back in the day, it used to be ICQ and AOL
Oh,
chat.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
that sort of stuff.
Do you remember how long your ICQ
Getting back
number
to
was?
IRC.
Multiplayer notepad. IRC is still in use today. But that's not
Exactly.
voice.
I used to. To be honest, I used to hook it all through Trillion, but
Ooh, now that's taking it back a little bit. Holy cow. Okay, so I have to just ask, do you remember how long your ICQ number was?
like
Long
11
as
numbers
hell.
or some crap.
I was 6 characters
I don't know.
long. 6 digits long. I got in way early and I'm just an absolute weird. Yeah, mine was 6 digits long. Thank God I
Mine
didn't
was
use
like-
it.
Mine was
The
one
ones
digit
with-
long.
Really?
One.
Which one?
And was it a letter, perhaps?
It said, I think it was actually 4. It was like sexy or something like that. I don't really remember. To be honest. I just
ICQ was
remember-
pure numbers, dude. What were
Not
you?
mine.
5, 3.
I was bringing sexy back. 2. And
2.
Justin Timberlake was 1. There you go. That was about. You can look me up.
Are you done? Are you done now?
Listen,
That wasn't even funny. I mean, seriously, I expect better from you, sir.
I'm actually disappointed in myself. I wish I could hang my head in shame, but you know, when you're such a badass, it's difficult. So I'm just gonna sit here and have drink some
I
water.
just thought your beard was getting in the way.
He still looks like Abe Lincoln to me.
We'll get him a hat.
Looks like
I got
honest Abe.
horns.
But yes, going back.
Going back, no, you make a good point. Actually, the point about if you're looking at a starting off point and you're looking at voice communication systems, number of games are going to use these, and when
There are
you've
some built into
obviously got-
games, yeah. Which
Yeah, well, a number of games will have them in place, but generally within gaming, having a voice platform that everyone in your community uses gives you some level of control over that. And you got to bear in mind that some of them are going to cost money, some of them aren't. So, for example, we've got a commonality that our guild uses TeamSpeak 3, whether you like it, whether you hate it. I mean, let's be brutally honest. There's a lot of fanboyism about communication software. End of the day, anyone who can set up or use Skype or ICQ or TeamSpeak or Mumble or Bit, if you can set up one, you can set them all up. You can use one, you can use them all, whether you've been a fanboy or not. At the end of the day, yes, Vikings wear their shame on their asses, you mean. When they're completely thrown now. So you're going to find that you've got some of them will cost money. You can set them up yourself, in which case you're not going to have as much money. It's just a case. Usually it comes down to costs at the end of the day when you are looking at communication software, and you're going to find you get what you pay for. You're going to put in the time to be able to host it yourself, in which case you're going to have full control over it, or you're generally going to tend to pay for a server to be set up and hosted on your behalf, in which case you're going to get a reasonable quality. Let's be brutally honest, things like Skype they're great that they're free, but they don't quite give you the level of privacy and control that you might necessarily want. You can have Skype open and you can have someone spamming you in the background. You can get people adding you that are trolls, whereas, for example, a Ventrilo server, you can add a password to it at the end of the day. So you get more granularity and more control. You will get what you pay for with communication software. But any of the major ones that are available, generally, there aren't any particularly bad ones. Let's be honest about it.
I agree with that. And I everyone's going to have their preference. Everybody is going to have their preference. Either they've had a really nasty experience with one, therefore they don't like it. I mean, in the end, it's got a purpose. Its purpose is to let you use your voice to talk with the people who are in your community. Does it do that? Yes or no? That, to me, is the start. If it does that, at least it does that, because otherwise you guys would be back in the day like we had our one, I believe it was Kasira who was mentioning, lots of hotkeys, no voice chat, just lots and lots of hotkeys, because you had to type everything.
Alliance alert. Oh, I used to love having alert chat in Alliance. Just being able to spam people.
So,
And big orange letters across the screen. It's all about the orange letters.
You like orange, don't you? Yeah, you do.
Have them gunners.
So yes, those are tools that are very common, but we have in today's day and age, thanks to what Blank was pointing out earlier, we have the technology to do things like, and I can't even reach, my back is that hard right now, but you can use your phone and be in touch with everybody. You can use your tablets and be in touch with everybody. You can use your various book reading devices like the Kindle Fires or whatever the heck you have, and actually get applications that allow you to talk to everybody. And people use things like WhatsApp. That's a popular one.
People use Google Plus. There are a number of streamers, and in fact a number of communities that put together Google Plus Hangouts so that they can watch each other, not like that, and play video games while they're hanging out in FaceTime, so to speak, or in fact using FaceTime.
Snapchat, yeah. But there's also other things that are out there that are coming about, and this is, I think, one of the things that Scream wanted me to drive at earlier, so I'm going to just take us there. There are tools that are created for online collaboration use in companies. I want to continue, but there's a problem with this.
What?
Blank, would you mind putting your D back on your desk?
Let me get both hands, hold on.
I knew it was going to come out at some point during the show. I just didn't know at what time. But there are online collaboration tools because teams in today's day and age are not always sitting at the same table in an office in the same country. And believe it or not, a lot of these tools and things can actually be used by guilds as well. So if you happen to know somebody who's into enterprise management or enterprise anything, they'll be able to probably make recommendations. For example, one of the things that at least we use is, and inside Enigma, believe it or not, is Slack. We actually use an application called Slack, and it sounds really weird, but they have the ability to let you have multiple channels. It is almost like a glorified IRC chat or an IRC server, because you can have multiple channels based on, you know, the people who are PvP, the people who are PvE, the people who are a particular class. You can have general things, or you can have specific news things, and people can subscribe to the channels that they want to pay attention to. And that actually can be really nice, especially considering things like that, like WhatsApp and stuff like that. All of these things are starting to be able to work cross-platform, so it makes a difference whether you're at your computer, whether you're on your phone, or what have you, which can be really nice. So there are other tools out there that are available, and in this particular case, Slack is also free, to a point.
Yeah, there are
other
more. Yeah, I'm going to put a few into the chat at the moment. So you've got other ones like Slack. You've got Kambanchi, I believe it's called.
Kambanchi?
Kambanchi. I'll put that into the chat, and you can have a look.
Yes, these are things that can really, really, really help. Not everyone needs them, but they can be nice. I will tell you, one of the coolest things about having Slack, at least in Enigma, was finding out that one of my guildies was in Tomorrowland last weekend. And they could send pictures, if they wanted to, of what they were watching, and it was kind of cool. So, you know, being able to stay in touch beyond the computer is kind of cool to me. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm. You've got some other ones as well. Some of them are paid. You may want to pay for some, you may not. I think Podio costs, but that one is available. I'll just put that one in chat. This one does cost money, but it's an option.
There's tons of options. You can do things completely free, or you can do things on a paid level.
Mm-hmm. Entirely. And
or
again,
you could be like Blank and be like, hey.
I got a notebook. I'm Blank. I have a notebook.
I've got two notebooks.
Well,
So-
no one's going to steal his ideas if he keeps half in one notebook and half in another.
Listen, don't. There's nothing wrong with the delivery method of keeping my records safe. Just because I don't believe in your robots and all your friggin' Skynets and shit to put all my passwords in, not happening. Not happening.
He sleeps in a sofa full of money, people. A sofa full of money. As it stands, it comes down to similar sorts of decisions you have to make with your communication server, and in fact your web hosting as well. You can have more control and pay for things. Generally, you can have more control and pay for things, and you get things like a particular level of service. You get compensation guarantees, or you take the free version, and you're generally going to get defined levels of service that are probably lower, but in my experience, are usually perfectly good for what a guild wants to do.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Right, so those are some tools and things that we are bringing to you, and we have discussed and we have shared. If there are other things that you'd like us to share with you about different things that we use, do let us know. But now we get to talk mostly about tools, each other.
Did you just say?
What?
I have
if you
no
want
idea.
to know more, you just said the most roundabout
I
thing
probably
I think I've ever.
did.
You literally just said,
Dude,
if you want to hear
I
more
am
about
this
something-
close to falling over right now. So anything
Well,
I
what?
say, you cannot hold against me in a court of law. I am not mentally all there.
We have already established that you burn children's toys. That you have a heart
Right.
of darkness. There's nothing you can
know
do
what?
to
I
dig
have
yourself out of
no
this hole.
problems having a heart of darkness at all.
yeah.
None.
No. Anyways.
So just be aware of that when you enter the competition for gunners. You might end up getting some sort of decapitated bear in the post.
Hey, just because I have a heart of darkness does not mean I am looking to decapitate children's animals. Thank you very much.
I said stuffed animals just because you got.
Blake has a little
just 'cause
black
you-
book.
Just because. Never mind the books, man. She's talking about decapitating animals.
What I will
So
say, you want some tools, a tool out of the book. Let me throw a couple of tools that would be useful.
Screen.
Try to keep a head on your shoulders when speaking to other community managers. You think you're the biggest, baddest mother trucker or whatever. Don't take that in with you to go talk to another organization leader. Respect should be earned, and trust and good times take different experiences to go through. You want some more tools? Get your butt to a convention. Go meet your fellow community folks, guild, clan, whatever. Meet them in real life. On the computer, we can turn off TeamSpeak and walk away when we want, when we're upset. We can ignore folks when we want to. When you're in real life, you have to see people use problem-solving skills, which for me is amazingly hysterical when you find people that don't have them. So go to a convention, have a meetup, do things like that. Other big things out of the toolbook.
I'll tell you what we can do, Blank. In fact, I'm going to just ride roughshod over you, sorry, Pseudo. Tell you what we can do, Blank, is in 2 weeks' time, so that's going to be, what date is that going to be? I'm actually checking my calendar right now.
Episode
So on the
31.
Episode 31. So on the 5th, what we're going to ask going to be 1 week before, and loads of people in Europe head out to Gamescom. So what you can do is we can go over not only what you do to prepare for a convention, but how to make it real, how to meet up in real life, and how to deal with people.
I will tell you the very first piece of advice I'm going to give you, and this will save poor Blank a bit of stress and struggles. Don't forget to pack shampoo, soap, conditioner, and use it.
Don't
Okay.
skip 2 weeks ahead.
No, that is one.
No, I'm joking.
And
I'm trying to tease him because he's made a comment before that when you get together, it's you have people living together and
No,
say the common
stinky
place.
people don't stay in my hotel rooms. No, get out. I'm sorry.
There you go.
I went to Iraq. I had to deal with stinky people. We were stinky people. I don't do really hot food. I don't do really hot drinks, and I don't do stinky people. I don't. It's just not a thing. But what I will say on that topic, and we're going to talk about this in detail, is
Screen's
No.
looking like he wants to smack you. He's in the
No.
going. "Mercer."
You're a community organizer
Take
or a leader. One of the first things, and like I said, we'll get into detail, is know your people. Know who has an anxiety issue. Know who is really shy. Know who's going to go too much. Know who may drink too much. Have plans for these sort of things. So we'll talk about it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Just wanted to throw those out there.
Definitely. And for you, Akak, squee! There you go.
It's ACAC.
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 I know, but I like the way that Screen
There's
said it. I
no
was thinking the Martians.
COCK.
Akak.
There's no ACAC in there. It's AA CAC. ACAC.
It's the Martian thing.
I've been sitting here for 10 minutes, did not notice that the man in the beard was like, "Why, hello, welcome to the stream. Would you like a little beard? Here, let me have some for you."
Oh no!
Gosh, really?
Off my ears. I think I just got tomato in my ear.
You got what? Say no. Say it again.
What?
What happened?
What?
Say these things again.
What, tomato?
America. Okay. Yeah.
Tomato! It's fine.
Toe me
Tomato.
toe.
Tomato. Tomato. Yogurt. Tomato. Scones. Yogurt. Excuse me.
I see my
Yogurt.
swatch is as big as yours. Right, and on that note, it's obvious that we're losing it ever so slightly. But yes, we wanted to make certain that we brought the question and answer as we were asked it. And that's about as far as my brain is going to go today. So, it's on you guys to end the show.
It's yogurt.
Well,
No,
now that Screenager has said his goodbyes to you, thanks for being here for the show. Thanks for hanging out. We talked about tools. I hope you guys had a good time. I'm sure you know that we have shows, MMO Buff, every day at around 8 o'clock in TSIP and British time, whatever time that happens to be for you. You have to check it out. Make sure you hit follow here.
Except
for the data mine, which is at some other random time that I don't really know because data mining sounds like nerdy talk to me. We should probably check it out if you're interested in that sort of thing.
There's mining. It's clearly Minecraft. It's clearly a Minecraft
It
show.
has
That'll be it.
absolutely nothing to do with Minecraft. It is group therapy for the independent developers. So if you're an independent developer interested in getting into independent developer, that's the show for you.
And
Wait,
that
is it
people
literally
is
called
how-
group therapy for developers?
It's what
You
we
might,
lovingly
like,
call it. It's a loving thing that we call it. It's actually independent developers sharing
Just-
their knowledge with other developers and allowing them to basically spread more information about what it takes to bring a game from thought to publication and beyond. It's a lot of fun.
Sounds
I'm
boring.
sure. I'm
I
sure
mean, no, it
is.
sounds
I'm busy
amazing.
working.
It might be boring for people who don't understand when we start talking about recursion and dividing by zero, but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You should just call this stick.
Listen.
I did not.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Call this stick.
Yeah, listen. Okay,
I
if you
do
want to sit
not.
around and talk about things that I enjoy talking about, like, I don't know, boobies or, something that is a hobby of mine, I'm sure we can have a good chat. But you're going to sit around and talk about clouds.
What do you do? Go around
and-
collecting them and putting them on your wall?
Be careful how you answer that. Blank. Be
There
really
was a
careful.
time in college when I was fantastic at guessing sizes just by visually inspecting and able to declare if they were potentially the support was bought at Victoria's Secret or not, and how much of a difference that actually added once upon a time. This is still a microphone.
Totally.
Something
But yeah, no,
tells
but
me
seriously,
that if I was not in my right mind, there'd be trouble right now. But my brain, I'm gone. I'm done.
See, but like technical talk, it's like if you start talking about like mechanical stuff in my vehicle, I just look at a mechanic. I'm like, fix it. Cool. Like, yeah, that's awesome. But it's like when the doctors are like, "Oh, we want to talk about your cancer," and then they're like, "Blah blah blah blah, carsa blah blah nomas blah." And I'm like, when do I get to be back here? Like,
Or one of
okay.
those, fix it. Just like you
Yeah,
do with
but
your
I know,
car.
just like-
Yeah.
whatever. So like when you guys are like, oh, this cloud service with the Jugles and the Moogles and the Omegals with my alpha servers, and I'm just like, You ask Nimsy or ACAC, they're both community. I'm like, Well, how do we get this picture here? Because that's all I really need to know how to do.
Why? So let's be clear about that before we wrap up the show. That's one thing. One thing that you should have around you if you don't necessarily, if you aren't the most technical person in the world, have tools around you that know what these things are.
Yeah.
Have your own tools.
Yes. I can't believe he's just called yourself a tool there, Scream, but I appreciate it.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Next week we're going to have a fantastic Donna Pryor on the show.
Yes.
Yay!
And for those who don't know, where is Donna Pryor from?
Sorry, I thought you were going to answer that. You know. He knows.
She used to do community management for some game that I heard of. I think it's Guild Wares. It's like a
tool site.
Yeah, dude, it is. It's a tool site.
Screen is gonna kill us.
Next week we're going to sit down with one of my new best friends, and not sure what we'll talk about because we always kind of let the guests decide, but it should be pretty cool. She is a delightful lady, and was actually just met her last weekend, so.
And she's willing to speak to you again. I am thoroughly surprised.
We speak to him every week.
Yeah, but it's like smoking. You build up a tolerance, surely.
Did you just
compare
correlate
you
me to smoking?
Madam.
Oh man, I'm reporting you for having a naked lady on your wall. Yeah. We just need to listen. Why are we still streaming? There is. There's. I can see. Well, obviously, with Boobo Vision, it's the first thing I can see in the background.
Is that a naked person screen?
No, it's not naked. Hold on, would you like me to get the drawing?
Yes, we would.
Oh wow. Yep. Banned. Well, it was nice seeing you, folks. We will. If it's not PG-13, don't bring it over here.
Is that
It's
Rogue?
just an X-Men. Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. She's wearing her X-Men outfit. Yeah, that's fine.
See? It's legit. Would you like to see all the other things I've got in my house?
And on that note, guys,
No.
we love you so much. It was great to see. Oh, is that a Care Bear?
You're not getting it.
Bye.
Wow. And as a reminder, folks, there is no top draw this week. Bye, everybody.